You're actually going to learn how to profit from something that only makes most people poorer. I'm going to tell you how to profit from inflation. Hi, my name's Keith Weinhold, host of the Get Rich Education podcast and writer at Forbes, and I am back again to help you build your wealth. Inflation is the rate at which price levels rise. It results in the diminished purchasing power of your dollar, which just keeps getting watered down over time. It is why in 1913, a pack of Wrigley's gum costing you 4 cents will cost you $1 today. And it's also why your $9 Chipotle burrito will soon cost $10. Now, your income or your net worth might be higher this year than it was last year, but your prosperity will still be diminished if your increase is less than the rate of inflation, which is often 2 to 5% per year. You don't think about inflation as much as you should, and part of the reason is because you've never seen an inflation bill alongside your electric bill and your internet bill or your credit card bill. So just take a look at this chart here. Inflation is insidious, an invisible tax. It's a stealthy thief. The gradual and inevitable dollar debasement over time is precisely why you would not keep $1 million in the bank for 3 decades. I mean, that would be ludicrous because in 30 years at a 4% inflation rate, that will whittle your $1 million down to just $308,000 of purchasing power. In fact, inflation is why millionaires will be poor people in the future. In fact, inflation has already transferred the millionaire label from wealthy to middle class. Well, the good news is that you can flip this around and start profiting from inflation. Well, how do you, like an everyday person, do that? You borrow massively. Well, how do you borrow massively without going broke? Inflation profiting from responsible borrowing is one of just 5 simultaneous wealth centers for real estate investors. You have the ability to borrow with long-term fixed interest rate debt, all while tethering your debt to a cash flowing asset. This way, your monthly debt payments are completely outsourced to tenants. Tenants pay your mortgage interest and your mortgage principal and something extra called cash flow, which really is amazing enough in itself. But a less understood benefit is also that if you borrow $1 million, not save like we did before, but borrow $1 million, just say over 2 years, a 5% inflation rate would diminish your debt burden from $1 million down to $900,000. Now you've just flipped the inflation chart upside down so that it gradually benefits you. See, your bank doesn't ask to be repaid in $1 million real inflation-adjusted dollars, but only nominal dollars. Nominal means in name only. So while inflation impoverishes savers, oppositely, it enriches debtors. In fact, inflation transfers wealth from lenders to borrowers. Lenders are paid back with diluted dollars. So why rush to pay down your loan on an income property when both tenants and inflation erode your debt's burden for you without your involvement at all? Instead of using your dollar for debt pay down, you could use it to invest in more real estate or just enhance your lifestyle. As time passes, an inflating currency supply means that wages escalate, consumer prices inevitably spiral higher, and your rent income will be higher over time. Therefore, it's just ever easier to pay back this type of real estate debt. So inflation profiting is your quietest wealth center as a real estate investor. It is like a friendly phantom. And if you don't have a loan on your property, then you miss these inflation profiting benefits. So borrow Massively. Inflation also redistributes wealth from old people to young people. Now, why is that? Well, that's because older people have more assets and younger people have more debt. Being financially free beats being debt-free. Even when I'm older, I am going to carry lots of debt because I understand how inflation benefits long-term fixed interest rate debtors. Real estate investors are optimally positioned to take advantage of this because you can borrow massively and most people can't, and most people are even scared to because they don't understand debt. To be wealthy, you need to both think and act differently than the crowd. It was Mark Twain that said, whenever you find yourself on the side of the majority, it is time to pause and reflect. From a young age, I have possessed millions of dollars in smart debt like I've just described, and you know what? Next I'm aiming for hundreds of millions of dollars in debt. Yes, I know it sounds so unconventional, but you know what else is unconventional? Financial freedom, especially at a fairly young age. Inflation impoverishes most people. Now you know how to profit from inflation. Well, if you want to learn more about how real estate makes ordinary people wealthy and how to avoid mistakes, you can listen to my Get Rich Education audio podcast on demand anytime. And if you don't know how to listen to podcasts, just download the Get Rich Education app for both Apple or Android. I look forward to helping you build your wealth free on the Get Rich Education podcast and app. If you would rather read a short ebook about what I just described and the mistakes to avoid, you can grab my international best-selling ebook called 7 Money Myths That Are Killing Your Wealth Potential at getricheducation.com/book. You just can't do the same old things and expect a different result. So grab my ebook to start thinking and behaving differently at getricheducation.com/book.
71% of Americans aren't saving enough for retirement. It's going to get worse as people live longer, and you need to start thinking differently. But you can't lose your time. Real estate is the investment vehicle that's made more ordinary people wealthy than anything else. Keith Weinhold of Get Rich Education is host of one of America's top investing shows, Disrupting Wall Street. He's an international best-selling author, a writer for Rich Dad Advisors, and has been an active income property investor since 2002. He has created thousands in passive monthly income for countless followers. Now, he has a free book, The 7 Principles for Creating Wealth in Your Life. Get your copy now at getricheducation.com/book. That's getricheducation.com/book. Because invest in what produces income for you now and later. Keith Weinhold is your guy. Sign up now at getricheducation.com/book.